Hello, everyone. I am so excited to invite you to a very, very special class I will be teaching on Juno at Synchronicity University. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to be a part of Synchronicity University. I can't wait to tell you all about Juno. This is going to be happening on September 6th, coming up very soon. I really hope you join me. And if you don't know who Juno is, let me tell you. Juno is, first of all, she's not a planet, she's an asteroid, and she's a love asteroid, which means that she's very much a part of our relationship dynamics, our love connections. When we speak about desire, attraction, meeting someone that we feel a bond with, or you feel like there's something special about that person, there's something special about that connection, Juno is in there. And I also had a beautiful conversation with Nadia Shaw where we talked more about Juno and why she's so important, and we talked about some examples as well. I'd love to invite you to watch that. It was such a lovely conversation, and the link is in the description, so check it out. But let me tell you why Juno matters, because when we speak about compatibility in love and astrology, people automatically think about Venus. Venus is attraction, Venus is romance and desire in relationships, absolutely. But we also need to look at re- Juno because Juno reveals deeper contracts we carry into love. So the hidden patterns, the evolutionary purposes of our relationships, the evolutionary purposes of coming together with another person. And it's very much about those parts of ourselves that surface, that come up when we are in relationship. And when I say relationship, yes, I'm speaking about something very serious and committed like marriage, but even when you're just seeing someone, even when we just meet someone and you're just, getting together for the first time, Juno is in there too. So understanding Juno gives us these insights that Venus alone can't show us. So whether you're single, maybe you're married, maybe you're in the space of reflecting on past connections, or maybe you're just getting out there again after a breakup, whatever your situation is, Juno speaks about all the patterns that shape your love life and how to bring them into greater harmony. So she speaks about the wounds and she speaks about the challenges, but also the medicine. And another thing too is when you understand your natal Juno, your own Juno, you become so much more aware of the patterns you carry into relationship and also your needs, your wants, your shadows, your weak spots, your vulnerabilities, but also your strengths, your gifts. What do you have to offer? What do you have to give to another? So it's just so deep. I love her so much. She really takes us into the truth of who we are in partnership. And by understanding, by having that deeper understanding of who you are, and also your partner's Juno, and their love language and their patterns and their difficulties and their strengths and gifts, when you have this deeper understanding, you can then create, you can co-create more conscious relationships, more authentic relationships. So just a tiny bit, and we're going to cover this in on September 6th, but I want to give you a little bit of understanding of her myth. So she's not super powerful because of her symbolism and her myth, but also the timing. When she was discovered, Juno's an asteroid that was discovered in 1804. This was a time that really marked a turning point in our sky because until then, nearly all the planets were named after male gods. So the only two feminine energies in the sky were the moon, right, which is very much the mother, and Venus, the lover. So with Juno and the other goddesses that follow, Juno was named after Hera. Hera is a Greek name, it's a Greek counterpart of Juno. Juno is a Roman name, so they're, really the same entity, the same being, the same goddess. Uh, it gave us a whole new archetypal dimension, which the asteroids that were being discovered really gave a voice to these aspects of the feminine that had been missing, the independence, the power, the creativity, the wisdom. So, and this is just when women are beginning to push for the rights, for social rights, for recognition. So, really, the heavens, the sky was revealing to us a new feminine archetype. So, really, a true cosmic mirror here. So, Juno is the wife of Zeus. She's the wife of Jupiter. But there's so much more to her than just being remembered as the wife, as the most elevated god, you know? And this is one of the fascinating parts of working with her archetype because for centuries, women like Juno, powerful women, were primarily defined in relationship to the men they were partnered with, instead of being seen in their own sovereignty, their own power, and their own truth. So we're going to look at this as well and how Juno's story reflects these cultural patterns and how her energy, her wisdom can really help us reclaim our independence in relationship, our selfhood in relationship, while we're still honoring that sacredness in partnership, right? And in the story of Juno and Jupiter, Hera and Zeus, it was contentious. It was marked by betrayals, infidelity, a lot of jealousy, a lot of power struggles. Juno was really having to deal with Jupiter going around and sleeping with other goddesses and humans, and it was having kids left and right. So Juno's story also forces us to look at the harder sides of love, right? Where we feel betrayed, where we feel like we're being tested, and where we need that deep, deep healing as well. So this is going to be again such a rich conversation. I really hope you're there or catch the recording later because we're not just going to look at the surface of things. We're going to explore the myth, the story, the symbolism, and the deeper layers of the meaning of your Juno. We're going to look at Juno in every single sign of the zodiac, how that energy is expressed in that sign. We're also going to look at the house she's in, and also again all the signs, all the houses, and all aspects to every planet. So what does it mean when if you have Juno in aspect to Mars, what does that mean? If you have Juno in aspect to Venus or to the moon, so how that story is weaved through your chart. Okay, so you can absolutely use this for yourself to understand your own Juno, and then you can bring this wisdom into other people's Junos, other Juno placements, your partner, even your friends, your family, your girlfriends, your boyfriends. And and just to give you a little bit of, I want to show you some examples because it's always the fun part, right? Looking at charts. So let's look at some charts and see Juno in action. So here is the charts of Johnny Cash and June Carter. They were married for 35 years, and they were probably in country music, it's probably one of the greatest love stories. You might know them also from that movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, Walk the Line, such a good movie. So they were together for 35 years. And when June passed, when she transitioned in 2003, Johnny followed her just a few months later, just very much part of that, like, really not being able to live without her. So you see the deep love and connection and bond that was not just a simple one. And right away, look at Johnny's Juno at 12 degrees of Cancer, and it's exactly trining Juno at 12 degrees of Scorpio. So look at the number 12. It's an exact connection, an exact trining. So right away, you see their Junos really speaking to one another, showing the attraction, the bond, the deep attachment. They're both Cancer and Scorpio are water signs. So it's all about the emotional world, the feelings, the connection. So you see that soul contract here of being together, really making things work. And also amplified by Johnny's Juno in Cancer. It's conjunct his Pluto, is right next to his Pluto, right? And then you see June's Pluto right there, reinforcing that deep emotional connection and deeply transformative. Now, look at June's Juno right on Johnny's moon in Scorpio. So it's this repetition here of Scorpio Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio, so they are connected, and Cancer and the moon, right? Moon rules Cancer. So it's that connection of this, it's the need to be safe, the familiarity between them, that warmth, the intimacy. It's like having a partner that feels like home, that reminds me of home, that I feel at home with. That's very much the intention here. But Pluto and Scorpio bring intensity, bring the shadows, and it also that capacity for renewal, for rebirth. So when they met back in 1950s, Johnny Cash was already such a rising star, but was already battling heavy addictions, a lot of inner demons. You see that in the movie. Um, and Juno's already this super celebrated singer from this like legendary the Carter family. So really bringing that grounding presence in his chaotic world, bringing that emotional safety and presence and nurturing. Again, the connection, the Juno connection to the moon. And she was with him through his darkest moments, a lot of struggles with drugs, a lot of struggles with the law. So he's actually sad that Juno was the force that kept him alive, that the saving grace in his life. So her love and devotion gave him that emotional anchor, that where we need from, in Pluto, the moon, Cancer, Scorpio, it's like they are each other's emotional anchor in different ways. But it was messy. It was redemptive. It was not easy, but you see again that sacred contract with one another. And when we talk about what are the intentions here is from a soul level of Scorpio and Cancer, the Pluto and the moon. What are they here to do together and to learn together? Especially, again, they're both water signs, water planets. So it's highly, highly emotional. And it is about evolving through deep emotional bonding and sexual bonding as well, and to transform through the intimacy in relationships, the emotional honesty. It's like bearing your soul to one another, confront the issues, use the crises as fuel for inner growth. So, and at the end, it's about establishing, nurturing, and emotionally secure partnerships where both people can process feelings, can grow together, can be there for each other, can offer that, mutual support and mutual intimacy. So much about their story here and the love that we wouldn't understand if we're just looking at their Venus, right? So their Junos here and the connections that their Junos are making to each other, in their synastry and their connection of their charts, but also in the connection to each other's planets that really is revealing very important parts of their relationship and truly their sacred contract with one another. The other example I have to show you is Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? This power couple and another power couple in the music industry. They're probably one of the most high profile couples in pop culture. And look at his Juno, Jay-Z's Juno, on her South Node. South Node is very much about where the soul is coming from, the memories, the imprinting, the past lives. So when you see that Juno South Node connection here, you know that they've met before. You know that they've had past lives together. You know this is a continuation of something that they've started in the past from a soul level. Um, his Juno is also on the angles. It's on her IC. So it's on the IC of the chart. So you see how this is also another extremely significant point, when you have these connections, these angle connections. And I will dive deeper into this during the class. But when you see Juno in these strategic places of the chart, this is also very, very powerful. His Juno squares her Venus and her Pluto. So you see the attachment, the bond, Venus, love, Juno, love. So it brings that powerful connection. And Pluto brings, like we saw in the previous example, emotionality. Things are not always easy. There's a deep connection, there's a profound attachment here, but also there's a potential to go through massive emotional upheaval, betrayals, and then can we make this work together? Can't we change? Can we change? Can we fix things? Can't we really, rise through and change and transform this relationship and really make it stronger, which is very much, a case here that was, stories of infidelities and ultimately the eventual healing that played out and it was really publicly expressed in the albums that they put out and all of that. So, yeah, so very, very powerful. And the other thing too that I want to show you, which is also another thing we're going to really talk about during this class, is the connection between Juno and Jupiter. They are the original couple. Hera and Zeus, Juno and Jupiter. And here you see Jay-Z's Jupiter on Beyonce's Juno. So there's a very symbolic thing here too about this connection. So very karmic contracts, So that's Juno. Juno is deep soul work. Juno is about personal transformation in relationships. So if this sparks something in you, come join me. I am so excited. I have so much to share with you. Again, this is going to be on September 6th at Synchronicity University. So you can find all the details below on the website. And if you can't make it live, there's absolutely going to be a recording that you can catch up later. And again, we're going to go through Juno in every single sign, every house, and an aspect of all the planets in the chart. So this is information for truly the rest of your life. You can use it to go back to past relationships, to understand the deeper patterns and what was beyond the surface. And you can use this in your relationship now, in your life. You can use in the future partnerships that you end up having. So this is super, super useful. This is information for truly, the rest of our lives. If you sign up before August 31st, you get to choose your tuition rate. So take advantage of that. And don't forget to check out my interview with Nadia Shaw. The link is also in the description below. It was really fun. It was so lovely. And yes, I really, really hope to see you there. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I will see you next time.